The sun sinks below the horizon of the Adriatic Sea, casting a fiery glow across the stone buildings and the wooden ships of the 13th century Caput. We follow a group of weary sailors fresh off their merchant ship after months at sea, as their noses catch a whiff of something utterly delicious wafting from a nearby tavern. Inside its glowing windows, platters and bowls brimming with beef goulash, stew, roasted potatoes, fresh baked pretzels, and sweet apple strudel promise to warm these sailors to their very bones. As they find seats at crowded wooden tables inside, candles flicker across faces flushed with bitter, dark beers and good company. Our sailors waste no time digging heartily into the steaming bowls of rich paprika beef stew, chunks of tender meat breaking apart easily after long hours simmering with onions and peppers. They tear off chunks of freshly baked pretzel knot rolls and chewy baked dough perfect for soaking up every last drop of the vivid red sauce clinging to their spoons. Next come platters of crispy roast potatoes, their golden browned edges sprinkled with fragrant caraway and marjoram. The sailors savor the herbs' lingering flavors together with potatoes' creamy interiors. Serving maids make the rounds to refill empty tankards with more dark froth beer. As the buzz of conversation fills the room, our sailors lean back in their chairs, pleasantly full. But soon dessert arrives in the form of apple strudel, ribbons of sweet simmered apples and raisins wrapped in flaky pastry dough and dusted with powdered sugar. The sailors eagerly help themselves to slices of the strudel, the honey and cinnamon spiced apple melting in their mouths as a perfect sweet finale to their hearty meal. Before long, more songs start up from the neighboring tables of duty-free sailors. Watching new ships pull into the glittering port under the moonlight, our group raises their tankards once more, toasting to their full bellies, good company, and the simple but profound comforts of hot, flavorful food after long months at sea. We too have been warmed and revived on this virtual journey back into 1310 Caput. Now let's step into the tavern kitchen to discover how such hearty, mouth-watering dishes would have been prepared centuries ago. We begin with beef goulash, a filling stew of meat slow cooked with paprika spice, cubed chunk roast seared in a hot fat before cooked low and slow with onion, red bell pepper, tomatoes, and broth. A long simmering tenderizes the beef until fork tender. Finally, the stew finishes with spoonfuls of tangy sour cream to enrich and thicken the broth. For the pretzel knot rolls, chewy yeast dough gets shaped into pretzels knots before taking a quick bath in boiling water and baking soda. This dip gives the rolls their distinctive brown crust and soft interior, perfect for soaking up stew juices. Out of the oven, the hot pretzels get brushed with melted butter for extra richness. Crispy golden roasted potatoes join the meal next. Small diced potatoes get tossed in olive oil and chopped rosemary before roasting high heat. Halfway through the baking, the potatoes get flipped to evenly brown all sides until crispy on the outside and fluffy within. A final sprinkling of salt finishes the dish. For dessert, thin strudel dough stretches out, then mounds high with sweet apple filling, along with chopped apples and raisins go cinnamon, walnuts, breadcrumbs, and honey for texture and flavor. Rolling up the filled dough encases the filling before baking the flaky, sweet apple strudel slices perfectly for finishing this hearty 1310 merchant's dinner. As we leave the warm glow of the tavern for the cool harbor night, the echo of sailor songs and fullness of simple, delicious food stays with us. We are grateful for this peek back in time, celebrating humble yet hearty medieval fare that still graces tables centuries later. From goulash stew to the apple strudel, we carry the memory of flavors and fellowship at seafaring tables overlooking the moonlit Adriatic shore. The question, as always, which of these dishes would you like to try? I trust you're enjoying this series, as it brings me great joy to share my resources. Speaking of sharing, if you would like more content like this, click the link to my Patreon and buy me a cup of coffee. Contrary to popular belief, we are not paid through YouTube, and therefore depend on contributions from viewers like you. Be sure to leave a comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Right now, go and click the like button and be sure to subscribe, as I have so many more other recipes from my walk through time just to share as we continue to answer the question, what the heck did they eat?